It's no surprise that Tekken 8 was due to release, especially based on how the previous game ended, but fans had no idea when. So seeing that trailer during Sony's State of Play in September of 2022 definitely boosted the hype even more. I mean, the visuals looked insane during the reveal, and the fact that it was all gameplay made it that much better, cause I'm personally not a fan of CG reveal trailers. Anyway, throughout 2023 we would have numerous character reveals being presented by ring announcer Lenny Hard, which was always entertaining to hear, not gonna lie. We had all of that, including videos showcasing new features and mechanics within the game. There was even a demo release which showcased a lot of the gameplay features, which I'll get into later in the video, as well as the ability to play with 4 out of the 32 characters in the roster. This demo also included the first chapter of the story. I mean, it was packed with enough content to give players a decent glimpse into what the game had to offer. So the big question is, does Tekken 8 deliver on what was advertised after all these years, or is it just a quick cash grab? Let's get into it. Tekken 8's story picks up 6 months from the events of the previous game after Heihachi Mishima's disappearance. Lars and Lee now see this as an opportunity to take down Kazuya and all his evil plans with the help of Jin Kazama. While on his way to stop him, Jin notices Kazuya in a helicopter and decides to take him down with his bike, which is wild. This is the type of over-the-top craziness I always look forward to within the series. Anyway, Kazuya survives the attack obviously, and they both walk towards each other while exchanging words about events that occurred in Tekken 6 due to Jin's actions, which he's trying to make up for. After recreating the Tekken Bandai Namco scene, we then switch to gameplay, and like I said earlier, if you've played a demo then you should be already familiar with this whole portion of the game. On the bottom left of the screen is a prompt for special style, which is pretty much an easier way to perform complex combos if you're new to the series or not that good at fighting games in general. There are also moments within the story that give you choice of action, like these quick time events for example, which I'm not normally a fan of, but it's not intrusive here, so I don't really mind it. Plus it gives these fights more of a cinematic feel, and that's not a bad thing. Rage arts are back and a lot flashier this time. Just like Tekken 7, once your health gets to a certain low point, you're able to activate the rage art, which can also bring back a bit of health depending on how low it is. Just make sure you time it at the right moment. There's also a heat system which gives you the chance to perform a more aggressive combo. It's represented by the blue meter underneath the health bar. It can really come in handy when you either want to add to a combo or when you're low on health and you've already used your rage art. There are 2 options when activating this, the heat burst, which is done by pressing R1 on the PS5 or RB on the Xbox, or the heat engager, which can be done by specific moves from each character. With Harang for example, forward circle will activate his heat engager if not blocked by an opponent, which will then have the character running towards the opponent. Pressing R1 during the running animation will then trigger the heat burst. This system keeps the momentum going within a heated battle, and I'm definitely all for it. While on the subject of features within Tekken 8, I want to use this part of the video to highlight a lot of the great things this game had to offer. Tekken 8 launches with 32 characters, plus a barrage of customization options for each character, and even your avatar, which I'll get into later on. Character Story Mode is now a fully fledged tournament and not just a couple of fights like in Tekken 7, which I'm absolutely happy about. This was definitely something I hoped would be included, and I'm satisfied with how it all plays out. There's an option to watch past events that led up to current situations within the story to catch you up to speed in case you forgot, as well as being able to rewatch story cutscenes or character-specific cutscenes as you play through their tournament journey. The music is great as always, and just like in Tekken 7, you can either choose to keep the playlist purely from the game or even select playlists from the previous games, or choose to have it play every track within the series, which is what I did. This was a feature I really enjoyed in 7, so I'm glad it's back. The return of Tekken Ball is incredible. I hadn't played this since Tekken 3 of course, so seeing it come back with newer features was a blast. This game really reminded me how much I prefer N-Miss couch co-op. Arcade Quest is a mode that has you create an avatar in order to battle other players via arcade machines and even compete in various tournaments. This is also a great way to relearn any combos you might have forgotten with favourite characters and even learn sample combos in the process to improve your arsenal. It's obviously reminiscent of Street Fighter 6's feature, but different in its own right. Winning various fights rewards you with more accessories for different characters in your avatar, plus the ability to go up in ranks. The rank you get during arcade quests or fighting other players' ghosts during single player, which is pretty much real world player characters, AI, is not reflected while playing online, if that makes sense. Fucking hell, that was hard to say. They're both separate ranks to put it simply. Which reminds me, you can train your own character's ghosts or AI to learn your moves, which will allow other players around the world to battle your AI, which is cool. Obviously a feature in previous games, but not as extensive as it is here. Okay, so with all that being said, I think it's only right that I talk about the negatives of this game. So let's get into it. As far as the story goes, it wasn't something that stood out to me personally like some of the previous entries, but it had its moments. I still enjoyed the over-the-top sections and also the fact that characters understand each other while speaking their native languages, which has been a staple since Tekken 5. I have no issues with that at all. Plus, it still had me interested in where things might go for the next game, so that's not bad. I did have issues getting into the online side of the game, but that's to be expected at launch, to be honest. It did work for me the next day, so not too much of a big deal. There were a few characters that I wish could have been a part of the roster from the get-go, but I can't really complain when there's already so many to choose from. With more to come through a season pass, which again, I'm not opposed to optional paid DLC if the base game has a lot to begin with, but that's just me. Honestly, there aren't many issues I had with this game, and I would really need to dig deep to find anything, and I don't think that's worth it. The game was just mostly great in my opinion. It just reminded me that some game companies still stick to traditions of having games that are packed to the brim with features. Last thing I can think of is the online trophies being a bit annoying to get, because finding other players was almost impossible at times. But to be honest, this wasn't something that made my experience terrible. I mean, I did end up getting the platinum in the end, which by the way is one of the easiest platinums, so I can't complain. But yeah, not much else I can say, so let's just move on. Overall, I had an incredible time with this game. It doesn't have many standout cons for me personally, and that is a breath of fresh air. Like I said before, the over-the-top silly moments have pretty much been a staple since the beginning, so I'm glad they've stuck with traditions. I don't often play fighting games, but the Tekken series is one of the ones I keep coming back to whenever there's a new entry, as it keeps rewarding players fairly, unlike most other games. And with how many features Tekken 8 had at launch, plus with more to come in terms of characters, I'm definitely happy with my purchase. So yeah, I'm fine waiting until 2032 for Tekken 9. With that being said, thanks so much for checking out the video if you made it this far into it. And let me know down below what your thoughts are on the whole game, and feel free to like and subscribe for more videos in the future. Anyway, that's all I've got for now, so I'll catch you in a bit.